quit the match, and then let's beat up Sandy Dog. I guess Sandy Dog's not here yet, so quitting the match was a little bit premature. Okay, there we go. This looks like a keepable but slightly underwhelming 7-card hand, which is pretty on theme for my deck. That's basically every hand that my deck can ever come up with. It's going to look okay but underwhelming. We're definitely bouncing things. That is definitely happening. Blue, red. Blue-red not doing anything in the first few turns. Against blue-white not doing anything in the first few turns. Interesting. So this time we don't have a scry, so I can freely look at my list. But I think I might decline to find once again, because I would rather have a land or many of my non-vampire cards. This Forerunner is actually so awkward. Whenever we are not on 5 lands and want Glorifier of Dusk, it's going to be pretty bad for me, because most of my vampires are worse than the random card in my deck. Which speaks for maybe taking this out. But I don't have better cards in my sideboard, really. Arguably the Nezahal, but yeah. It's just very weird to have a 2/2 don't want to search for anything. So no Bombard, but it makes sense. Like, even if my opponent is holding a Bombard, they would likely not want to kill the Forerunner, especially if I haven't searched for a Vampire. Then it's less likely to attack for 3. Yeah, they have Forerunner. Forerunner and blue-red means they either have a broken uncommon or it's pretty medium. Needletooth Raptor, Tramp, Itali. That is an issue as well. Well, I did draw a Vampire, despite not setting that up. It's probably better to play the Vampire still. And then I just have to bounce the Itali 5 times. For which plan I would want to start making my land drop so I can develop the board and bounce it at the same time. But yeah, I have once again only 2 outs in my entire deck list that can get an Itali off of the board. Probably don't want to attack this 2/2 into my opponent's Forerunner so they can use a combat trick on it. But if they have Windstrider here, I'm also getting blown out. I think I do need to maximize my damage though and also trigger this raid, so I can't afford to play around there. Because I need a board presence when this Itali comes down, otherwise I'm not getting enough damage in with all of my Crashing Tides. Like, now they casted, I Crashing Tide hit them for 6, that's actually a pretty promising thing, because then they recasted, I hit them for 6 again. Unfriendly Fire, what is this? Yeah, okay, then I'm only hitting them for 3, then it becomes a lot less promising. I still have 3 bounce spells, so that's already 9 damage. So if I find another like 2-drop to play here, oh wow, that's one of my few real answers to it. That could work out great for me. Though I'm not certain if I want to keep bouncing it first and then go for my real answer, because then my opponent's more likely to keep recasting it and wasting their time. I think so. Also gives me one more shot at finding another 2-drop. Not that I have many in my deck. Okay, now I have both of the answers. I can even like end of turn expel it, untap Glorifier, and then my opponent just ends up far behind, even though I don't get the Ascent version of the expel. This is working out pretty nicely for me. The Itali, as long as it doesn't get to attack, it's kind of a Colossal Dreadmaw, and I already discussed that like Colossal Dreadmaw decks that fall behind on the board and then get wrecked by my bounce spells are like my best matchup. Maybe that's better. No, probably getting the 5-drop onto the board is better. because then I can like watch or not and maybe cast this in the same turn. Also just threatens to kill my opponent if they recast the Itali again and I get to water not it. That worked out pretty nicely so far. Wow. Yeah, 6 cards in their hand. So they go to 1 here. Oh no, they don't go to 1. I can cast both of my removal spells because it's a 2-drop. Nice. My deck actually managed to look quite impressive for how terrible it looked in the first 2 rounds. It did help that my opponent cast the same 6-drop 5 times and it never influenced the board in any way. So blue-red aggressive, that should be one of my better matchups with the blue-white version. So I think I want to stick with blue-white for now and not switch into anything else. Not necessarily a good matchup for Nezahal. And this one's kind of okay against blue-red. Sometimes they have targets for this, but it's not guaranteed, so I think I will keep them in the sideboard for now. And especially if it's like the targets are going to be auras and not like real like not enchantments on their own, but always an aura that they put either on their creature, like a One with the Wind, or they put on my creature, like a Water Knot. And then I think my 5 bounce spells already cover that sufficiently. I don't think I need Demystifies or Cleansing Rays. So I could see myself bringing in the Queen's Commission though, because especially against the 2/1 Menace Goblin, I suck at card names, I apologize, but yeah, especially against that card, having Queen's Commission as a way to double block it really favorably, both because Queen's Commission can trade 1-for-1 for it, but also you can like have a Sailor of Means and then 2 1/1s, and then those enable you to double block with your Sailor and are not as vulnerable to your opponent having like a bounce spell or removal spell to pressure you. Yeah, but I'm not certain how I would make room for it. I could throw out like Crashing Tide or Stormfleet Spy, but I think I like those a little bit more. It does go well with the Forerunner. Yeah, I think I'll keep it like this for now. Yeah, Forerunner is a reasonablest idea. I just said that before, like, you probably said it before me, but the delay made it so that it showed up pretty much on the same time. Yeah, I could see Forerunner, but like it's weird that I board in a card that makes the Forerunner a lot better and then cut the Forerunner, so I don't know, like, the Queen's Commission and the Forerunner want to be in the deck at the same time, but then I can't really think of a different card to take out. Also, if I draw the Forerunner later than turn 3, it's pretty great, because I can search for my 4/4 flying. Glorifier of Dusk is a pretty good target. It just keeps happening that I'm on 3 mana, I don't have a 4th land drop, and I don't want to search for my 5 drop. And Forerunner on turn 3 is pretty awful for me. Okay, this looks like, once again, it's barely keepable. A little slow, a little anti-synergistic, but it's just like a playable collection of cards. This should do a good job of holding off early aggression. This already answers the Itali. So I think it has to be a keep still. But once again, I'm not excited about it, which is my deck in a nutshell. Come on, Sandy Dog, you can do it. Come on. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to cut this Stormfleet Spy though, and have Queen's Commission instead. Because I do have few creatures on turn 1 and turn 2 that trigger it. I'm not certain on that. Like, having 2 bodies on the board instead of 1 can sometimes also create card advantage, but my opponent hasn't shown me a lot of 1 toughness creatures so far, so it's less likely that the Queen's Commission gets to be like a 1.5 for 1 or a 2 for 1. It's pretty insane against some, like, yeah, basically any deck based around 1 toughness creatures. And even evasive 1 toughness creatures, like 2 1s, and like the lifelink hit that you get back on the backswing can make racing pretty difficult for some archetypes. Like black-red is really bad against the vampires. Nice, that is a 2-drop. And one that goes well with my Sanguine Glorifier, that's pretty great. Though hopefully my opponent doesn't follow up with the dinosaur here. No! Don't dino me. No. Well, I guess as soon as I put a +1/+1 counter on it, it's going to be a profitable blocker as well. So I still don't hate how my curve is working out here. Sailor of Mean contests the board for now, soaks up 3 damage, and then this becomes a 2/4 as well, then I have 2 profitable blockers. Everything's fine, don't bombard me please though. Don't bombard me. Swaggering Corsair, more frilled Death Spitters. Yeah, I think I want to get this counter going and then probably keep it back. My opponent could bombard this now and it's still pretty painful. But yeah, I do need to just stabilize here. My opponent's currently mana screwed on just 3 lands and plus red sources. Oh, never mind. All of that just stopped being true. 2 spell turn. Calm down over there. No. Ah. It's pretty disgusting. I do need to make a trade here. Even though I'm triggering this and all that, I need to keep their board a little bit under control so they don't ascend all too quickly with this guy. I probably just want to bounce this as well. Kind of want to hold on to my Warden out, so I do have an out to Itali still. Tapping stuff down can maybe buy me some time, and then the 3/3 flyer can offer some counterplay. So I do like that. Then I can start flying over for 3 damage while my Sailor of Mean stalls the ground. But like, interesting. So Hostage Taker, Angrath. Those are like my immediate assumptions, though it could be something lower powered like a Recoverer. Interesting attack. Can just make the double block here. What's the worst that can happen? Like Bravado? Bravado gives double strike, so then they deal 6 damage to my 2 creatures. That still ends up only killing one of the 2 creatures. I guess they might have Unfriendly Fire in their hand and they just want to make this connect. No, that's not true. I'm 1-1 and this is game 2. So the 2 explanations are they have Buccaneer's Bravado, and then they think if I... Okay, so the obvious 2 blocks are either this, minimize damage, or this, try to get their Swashbuckler off of the board. And against Bravado, this is not a pirate, so they can only deal 4 damage to me, putting me down to 5. And if they Bravado this to try and keep it alive, they do keep it, but I only lose 1 of my 2 creatures. So I'm trading 1 for 1 for the Bravado and not taking as much damage. And the other explanation was the unfriendly fire, where they want to get me to 6, then this puts me to 4, and then unfriendly fire kills me. But against that I have the option of getting Third Despater off of the board without taking damage, like bounce it, water knot it down. I guess I do have to water knot it down, otherwise it will deal the damage to me eventually. So if this double block happens and my opponent's creature just dies, I have to play around unfriendly fire. I think that's alright. Like, it's super good for me if it's just the unfriendly fire setup, because then I'm preventing that damage and wrecking my opponent because they tried to go for that. So I think now I just go for the line of attack with this and bounce that, or maybe I just tap both down. I think I want to stall out this Third Despater as long as possible, so my opponent thinks it's a valid game plan, when actually it turns out it's not going to work for them, because I can water knot it down at some point. Like, I will put it back on their library, I'll tap it down, all that, and then at some point they might lose so much board control that they have to just cast Unfriendly Fire on one of my creatures, and then they just threw this away for no value. I'm pretty certain he has Unfriendly Fire in his hand. So his 2 cards in hand should be Unfriendly Fire and Third Despater, and then the 2 new ones that he just drew. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 permanents. It's pretty decent. Let's put this on top of your library. I guess it's an easy trade for my opponent if I attack with all. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay, he's not willing to trade. That is better for me, because then I get some free damage in, and the Tilonali's Knight is going to be tapped down anyways. And then I might be able to just tempo him out. Yeah, I do like that. Sailor. Sure, I guess I want to respond. Do I want to respond? Because they can't counterspell me then, but I assume it's still Unfriendly Fire. So tapping these, it's probably incorrect to tap those 2 down, because I want to tap the Sailor of Means and the Tilonali's Knight and then water knot this. So that's just better for me, and I can respond to the treasure so I don't get counterspelled. Yeah, that seems good. Nice. That seems real good. The pay 4 more, and it costs 3, but if you control a pirate it costs 2 instead, like it gets 1 cheaper. I'm not certain what it's called. Yeah, as I said, I'm bad with counter unless pirate. Lookouts Dispersal. So if I let them get the treasure, they could Lookouts Dispersal me. No, Pirates uses the exile spell, right? Yeah. So attack, probably bouncing this. So I assume I can maybe even attack with this. Seems pretty fine. What can they have? Like 5/5 trample haste. You would just jam. I mean, I am jamming, but I did manage to, or did consider everything to play around everything basically. This one to hold it back. Maybe I'm not just jamming. I'm thinking still. 5-5 haste trample. I still block here and go to 1 and then kill him on the backswing. Oh yeah, Pirate League. I mean, I did jam this, but I made sure that the timing was perfect, so that all 3 creatures end up tapped. So I'm bouncing this. I guess then I'm dying to Pirate League. Or not dying, but I take a bunch of damage if this gets countered. Yeah, maybe it's just correct to hold this back. What damage is it? 8 damage to 6. If I make this, it's 7 damage to 5. Then they have 2 blockers, maybe 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, the extra damage matters quite a bit, because then I'm killing them through an extra blocker. So I think I do need to do this. There's like a tiny bit of risk attached, but most likely my opponent just has like unfriendly fire and this Telonali's Knight in hand then. I'll ask him. So they block here, block there, block here, block there. Unfriendly fire this, go to 2. If I attack with everything. I guess I'll find out anyways, I don't need to ask in the chat. It does make me look a little bit smart that I'm respecting the unfriendly fire basically the entire game. But yeah, feels good, man. Feels good. Yeah, the attack with the swashbuckler into my double block gave it away. Yeah, 500 IQ reads for sure. He says he isn't sure what he missed or misplayed, but he feels like he punted. Yes! Feels fucking good, man. Just feels amazing when you play like solid good Magic, figure out their card, play around the entire game, and then manages to beat the card that they do have in hand. It's like the best feeling. Ah, feels fucking good, man. I still think I don't have lethal here, right? Yeah, because of the unfriendly fire, they just block, and go to 2. But yeah, I would have died to this if I had ever triggered the Enrage, and I managed to avoid that. So nice. I did play poker a little bit, but I suck. Like I know, like you start out whenever you play a new game, you think like, yeah, I'm the shit. I know everything, and then as soon as you know a little bit, you realize how terrible you are. And I'm just good enough at poker to know how little I know. Like I know that I'm super awful, and I make everything. Like I know the advanced principles of poker, that they exist, but I know none of them. So it feels a little bit bad if I play poker for too long because I know how terrible I am. I mean, because poker is a lot of mathematics and a lot of like balancing out your range and all that, like I can apply the principles of like bluffing and figuring out information to Magic. I know that, but like the mathematical background of poker, I completely lack. So my lines of play are just like erratic and unbalanced and all that. Is it still correct to take with everything? Probably right, because it forces them to block, and they only have one power left on their board afterwards. Can block here, then they end up dead. Yeah, I think I do need to. Just with those two in the Skyblade, then they get a free block here and can go to 1 and keep their Telanali's Knight. Not sure if that's better. I don't think that's better. I think this is correct, because it sets up lethal for next turn and they need another blocker. Like they block here again next turn, then they go to, like they just die. No, even with another blocker, they block here and take 2. So I think attacking with everything is actually important, because the Sailor of Means get enough damage in this turn so that Sailor of Means are lethal next turn. There's like only the 5/5 haste that really punishes me. And it's an uncommon that I haven't... It's an uncommon from the set that you only have 2 boosters of, and I haven't seen it yet. So I don't think that's reasonable. I guess Windstrider still kind of owns me, but it does so... Yeah, that was important. Yeah, but they cast their fire. They would need to have another fire, which is also a common from the set you only have 2 of. So both of their packs of Ixalan would have to have an unfriendly fire. You'll teach me poker? Okay, I'll come back to you on that. Nice. That was a pretty great match of Magic. Not sure